What if the most profound truth about life cannot be spoken, described, or captured in any book? What if the ultimate reality is something that slips through the grasp of language, eluding every attempt to define or confine it? This is the paradox at the heart of the Tao, the ancient Chinese concept that has mystified and inspired seekers for thousands of years. The Tao is often translated as the way, but it is much more than a path or a rule to follow. It is the ineffable source of all existence, the underlying rhythm of the universe, the silent current that flows through all things. How can something so fundamental be beyond words? And what can it teach us about living in harmony with the world and ourselves? Today, we embark on a journey to explore the Tao, the way beyond words and concepts. Welcome to the unfolding journey, a place where timeless wisdom meets modern exploration. Here, we dive into the mysteries of philosophy, spirituality, and the inner life, not as abstract ideas, but as living truths that can transform how we experience the world. If you're curious about the deeper currents beneath everyday reality and ready to question the stories we tell ourselves, then you're in the right place. Let's begin. The paradox of the Tao. The opening lines of the Tao Te Ching, written by the sage Laozi over 2,000 years ago, begin with a profound paradox. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. Right from the start, Laozi warns us that the Tao escapes verbal definition. It cannot be pinned down by concepts or linguistic labels. Any attempt to describe it reduces it to something less than what it truly is. This paradox is not a failure of language, but a recognition of the limits of human understanding. The Tao is the ground of all being, the source from which all things arise and to which all things return. It is the natural order, the way of the cosmos, yet it is beyond all dualities and distinctions. In a world obsessed with categorizing, explaining, and controlling, the Tao invites us to embrace mystery and openness. What is the Tao? So, what exactly is the Tao? The Tao is often described as the way or the path, but it is not a path you choose or a goal you achieve. It is the spontaneous unfolding of reality itself, the natural flow of existence that happens whether we are aware of it or not. Think of a river flowing effortlessly downhill. The water doesn't struggle or resist. It simply follows the contours of the land, adapting and moving with ease. This is the essence of Tao, effortless action, or Wu Wei, acting in harmony with the natural flow. The Tao is both the source and the pattern underlying all phenomena. It is the cosmic rhythm that unites opposites, light and dark, life and death, order and chaos. Everything arises from the Tao, and everything returns to it. The ineffability of the Tao. Why is the Tao ineffable? Why can't it be fully captured in words or concepts? Because the Tao transcends the limits of the human mind. Language divides the world into categories, this and that, good and bad, self and other. But the Tao exists beyond all these dualities. It is the unity behind the multiplicity. Any description of the Tao is necessarily partial and symbolic. Words are pointers, not the thing itself. This is why Taoist texts often use metaphor and paradox. They hint at the Tao through images of water, emptiness, softness, and silence. They invite us to experience the Tao directly, not just to think about it. Wu Wei, effortless action. One of the most important Taoist principles is Wu Wei, often translated as non-action or effortless action. But Wu Wei is not about passivity or laziness. It is about aligning with the Tao so completely that your actions flow naturally and spontaneously, without forced effort or struggle. Imagine a skilled dancer who moves gracefully without thinking about each step, or a great musician who plays from the heart without hesitation. They are not controlling every movement, but allowing the flow to guide them. Wu Wei teaches us to stop fighting against the natural order and instead find harmony by trusting the flow of life. Yin and Yang, the dance of opposites. The Tao is intimately connected to the concept of Yin and Yang, the complementary forces that shape all things. Yin and Yang represent dualities such as light and dark, feminine and masculine, soft and hard, stillness and movement. But unlike opposing forces locked in conflict, Yin and Yang are interdependent and dynamic. They constantly flow into one another, creating balance and transformation. The Tao is the underlying unity that holds this dance together. Recognizing this interplay helps us understand that life is not about choosing sides but embracing the whole, the ebb and flow, the rise and fall. The Tao in nature. Nature is the ultimate teacher of the Tao. Observe a tree bending in the wind, rivers carving valleys, or the cycles of the seasons. Everything in nature moves in accordance with the Tao, without resistance or striving. Taoism encourages us to return to this naturalness, to cultivate simplicity, spontaneity, and humility. By observing and aligning ourselves with nature's rhythms, we can live more balanced and meaningful lives. The Tao and the Self. What does the Tao have to say about who we are? In Taoism, the self is not a fixed, separate entity. Instead, it is part of the whole, a momentary expression of the Tao. Our identities, desires, and fears are like clouds passing across the sky of our being. When we cling too tightly to a rigid sense of self, we create suffering and separation. The Tao invites us to let go of these attachments and return to our true nature, a state of openness, fluidity, and connection. The Tao in daily life. How can we live according to the Tao? It begins with awareness, noticing the flow of life, our own habits, and the ways we resist or force things. Practicing Wu Wei means choosing actions that feel natural and unforced, cultivating patience, and embracing simplicity. It also means letting go of rigid plans and expectations, and learning to trust the unfolding of events. Living the Tao is a practice of surrendering control while remaining fully present and engaged. The paradox of non-doing. At the heart of Taoism is a beautiful paradox. By not doing, we accomplish more. This might sound counterintuitive in a world that values hustle and control. But Taoism shows that forcing things often leads to frustration and imbalance. When we align with the Tao, we act in harmony with the natural order, and our efforts yield fruit effortlessly. This paradox teaches us that power lies not in domination, but in yielding and flowing. Why the Tao matters today. In our fast-paced, chaotic world, the Tao offers a profound antidote. It invites us to slow down, to listen to the deeper currents beneath the surface, and to live in harmony rather than conflict. The Tao challenges our cultural obsession with control, certainty, and division. It reminds us that true wisdom arises from humility, openness, and balance. By embracing the Tao, we rediscover a way of being that is ancient yet deeply relevant, a path to peace, wholeness, and belonging. The Tao is not a destination or a doctrine. It is a living experience, a mystery that unfolds when we open ourselves to the ineffable flow of life. If this journey toward the way resonates with you, and you want to explore more timeless wisdom, inner exploration, and the unfolding of consciousness, then be sure to subscribe to The Unfolding Journey. Together, we'll continue to explore the mysteries that lie beyond words, inviting deeper insight, presence, and harmony into our lives. Thank you for joining me on this path. Until next time, keep unfolding.